So welcome everybody. It is Thursday night, and in the virtual commentary box and driver's seat this evening, we've got Ashley. Ashley, a little bit of a man down situation for you on Monday, but it's good to have you back.
Yes, Dylan, unfortunately I was suffering from a bit of a tick bite fever, but everything's okay. The medication has done wonders and I'm feeling much better, so thank you for that.
No worries, it's absolutely fantastic to have you back. You're going to be racing. I know that you haven't done much practice. You've been frantically getting that car around the Zolder circuit is where we are now. Just having a look on our second screen, and our safety car Chase Hall's car is in the pit lane. They've got about 8 minutes left of that qualifying to go. So all I can say is let's just jump in there and see who we have racing this evening. But when we did the drivers briefing, we had a total of 14 drivers that were in this Bravo tier. So really looking forward to the racing this evening.
No, absolutely. We saw from last week how close the racing was. Hopefully we won't have any first instances on the first corner like we did the previous race, and the guys can keep it nice and tidy this evening. But I'm quite excited. So with a big field like this, I think we get in for a real good night's racing ahead.
Most definitely, and let's just say, I'm getting some feedback. Where's it coming from? Is it? I don't know if it's from your side, but I am hearing myself coming through. Hold on, I think I fixed the problem. There we go. Thank you, Brandon. We've just figured it out. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon.
So, big shout out to Peter Heidemann. He's saying, good luck all. What a great track. I don't think everybody agrees with Peter there.
No, look, this track, well, definitely on Project Cars has been a favorite for some of the guys. On this one, I've just gone out with the Nissan, and it's pretty tricky. Not as easy. Some of the corners on Project Cars you could pretty much take flat out. But I think the biggest thing with this format of racing is getting that setup right. And I think that's been the challenge for a lot of the guys, transferring from the Project Cars to a set of course. I can certainly speak for myself. I'm certainly battling around here, not getting the correct setup, and it's definitely showing.
So some other fan favorites that have joined us this evening. We do have Sean Prinsloo. He's joined us. Yanaman, he's saying let's go sim stuff. We've got Peter Heidemann saying get them Brandon. Jason 128, he's joined, new to the channel. We haven't seen him before. He's supporting Dion van Heerden. Dion will be racing a little bit later on. So Jason, do stick around and check what's happening in the Alpha tier. Then we've got Meneer Pieter Reiling. Hello Amal and Dylan. I hope, Peter, that I used the accent to your liking. Let's just have a look at some of the qualifying times now. Stephen is top of the order there, a 1:31.4. But I still think that there are going to be a lot closer times up in the top there.
Yeah, I think from what you're saying from the free practice, the guys were within less than a second. I think it was the top 7 drivers. And I think it's still early days. The guys still got 5 minutes left on the clock. Maybe just giving each other enough space so that they don't crowd each other. I mean, that's the worst thing you could possibly do, is get caught behind somebody who's a little bit slower than you. So the guys spreading out nice and evenly, and you can see that in the pictures. At the moment, we've got, is that Senior?
So that's Ethan. Ethan. 2.4 seconds off the pace. The drivers we're looking for to see is Chappie RSA, that is Sheldon. He was top of the tables earlier on, and then just before the qualifying ended, we had Reeve, who's creeping Apple. He went and put in a fastest time, but as I say, Reeve, I see that he is no longer in the lobby, so I wonder whether that's just a disconnect that's now happened. But exactly what you were saying, the top 3 drivers were separated by one of a second.
Okay. Well, there we see Durkee now setting a good time there. Just a second off, still slower than Steven, who's put up that blistering time there of a 137.4 out in front at the moment, followed by Durkee. Then Ethan in third. Reeve has now moved himself up to fourth position, followed by Marshall in fifth. Brandon DeSantos in sixth, new to this format of racing as well. We know he just recently received his brand new steering wheel, so he's put into good use this evening. Down in eighth position, Stefan, and right behind him is Johan, and behind Johan is Mr. Bond. So the Sim Stuff Racing guys down there in ninth and 10th at the moment, but I'm sure we'll see them a little bit later on in the race to come.
So I see Sean Prinsley is saying, Dylan, I'll join both events from next week. That's vintage and Japanese. We need to chat so I can learn the ropes and getting the invites and so on. Sean, 100%. We'll just need to see. I think there's 2 races left for the vintage touring cars.
Yeah, Dylan and...
So Sean, what I'd have to say is that unfortunately, with there being only 2 races left, that's championship deciding time. So unfortunately, we won't be able to get you in. But for the vintage, get you in for the vintage touring cars. But for the Japanese, we're only on round number 4, so there's still time for you to get in and enter. But we'll definitely get you in for the new season, starting in about 5 weeks' time. Can you believe it? We're already talking about the next season.
Yep, and I'm quite excited. There's some clever ideas flying around, and can't share much of that information right now, but we will definitely keep you guys posted. So please, guys, if you want to get involved, if you want to find out a little bit more about Sarco racing, check out our website, check out Facebook, and go and search us. Come and join us. Sign up as a member. There's some merchandise if you want to get yourself a cap or a water bottle, or even a COVID-free dust mask, whatever you want to call it. You can find that all on our website.
So Stephen cracking a 131.0, but you can just see Brandon is 1.2 seconds behind, then Sheldon 1.3, Durkee 1.4, Ethan 1.4. So there's 0.2 of a second separating drivers 2 to 4. That is absolutely crazy. Paul Fenter, he's joined in saying, let's go, Mr. Ghost. Sarge is saying, have a great race, guys. Give it carrots, Marshall, a fellow Chasing Beavers driver. We know that Memo is away on business, so he won't be in the Alpha tier a little bit later on this evening, unfortunately. Anton Repsold, he's saying, Sean Peters, Carl Oosthuizen, and Alvin Sykes, I hope you calling them in to come and see what's going on here. Really awesome to come and support some very local and lacquer racing here this evening. A lot of our drivers, I don't think we have any internationals in this lobby. No, so we are all very proudly South African, but definitely in the Alpha tier. I wonder whether we'll have the Australians join us. And we still needed to get Toka, our Canadian entry. He hasn't had a race with us just yet.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm just looking. That's quite a good time that Stefan has put up there. So still in pole position at the moment, with 55 seconds left. Sorry, Steven. You better know it's quite. The Mumba test driver. What is it?
He's a development driver for the Mumbas.
That's pretty much the same thing. So Stephen there in first position at the moment with a 131.0, followed by Brandon DeSantos, then Sheldon, and down in fourth position we have Durkee, Ethan in fifth, Reeve in sixth at the moment, Marshall in seventh, eighth position is Stefan, and in ninth is Johan VDV. 10th position at the moment is Tyler Scott. And that looks like it's the end of qualifying. I don't think anybody else will be able to get a lap in. I see Durkee has just crossed the line now, so that's the end of his session. So he's not going any faster. Ethan has now pitted. So it's just Reeve out on the track at the moment. Let's see if he can maybe improve his time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to get himself out of that dreaded 6th place. And man, oh man, I keep saying this, but Reeve is probably one of the unluckiest drivers. And I'm seeing a pattern that happened with Andrew Ambrogioni. He got himself into these series of races where he found himself in 6th and kept getting taken out, and unfortunately did not. So that's an improvement there for Reeve. So that's in 5th. So hopefully that solves that issue. So guys, that is the end of the qualifying, and as we know, with us being on the PlayStation, I am going to get a blue screen while the guys get ready to do the rolling start, so we can show you some of the highlights from our Monday night race, and that is in the vintage touring cars. And we'll be back as soon as we get the rolling starts up and ready. We did see Brandon De Santos nearly going a bit sideways there, just touching that outside curb. Jacques hit a to the inside there for Louis and Terry. That was a very close there, but it looks like that Louis. So guys, we are back, and we did miss the start. We might have to just change the way we do these rolling starts, so we're able to get the start. We had everything running absolutely perfect. Looking at the orders, it does seem like everyone has been through. It doesn't look like there's been any major incidents, because out in front it is extremely close between Stephen, Brandon, Sheldon, Dirkie and Reeve. 5 cars, and that is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, and in the background 6th, 7th and Stefan in 6th place, Johan in 7th, so he has moved up the order. I am seeing that Marshall is down in 14th place, so he's just crossed the line now. Guys, just let us know if you're getting enough of the sound coming through. Do you need more car sound? Are you happy with what you're hearing? But that is the end of lap number 1. Remember, the format is a 45-minute race. 1 mandatory pit stop is required, and your race leader Stephen in the new colors I see is that he has got rid of some of the green in that and has gone for a little more subtle color scheme. It is awesome to see Reeve having a little look on the inside on Dirkie, and Reeve making use of the Sarco inspired colors.
So yeah, good start there by Stephen. Already 2 seconds ahead on this first lap, and it looks like the Nissan is dominating this eve. Ooh, there we see someone in the background hitting that curb pretty hard and lifting the front of the car, and that's definitely going to upset the vehicle for the rest of the race. But still a good battle here between Brandon and Sheldon and Dirkie for the second spot on the podium. I think we're in for a good race here this evening, Dylan.
And we see it time and time again, is that the guys in front, they make a break for it. And then what happens is that later on, once you've done your pits, that's when the racing starts coming closer together again. And the results have been absolutely crazy over the last couple of weeks. To think that it's not always the person that is out in front after the pits that has been winning.
No, for sure. We saw the last week when the Alpha Tiers where Jark Racing was stuck behind Jake for the first couple of laps, and he decided to pit early. And man, oh man, we were watching it. It was very, very close right to the end where Jake's actually came out ahead of Jark, but Jark had that straight line advantage and managed to overtake him, and that was it. That was the end of the race. So yeah, the pit strategy I think is going to play a major role here this evening, just like we've seen for the last 4 races.
Okay, so I did get a message to say that the audio is all good. Ash, you might be a bit loud, but I have sorted that out. Then looking, Daniel, the War Machine Morales, he has joined us. Long time no see, Daniel. He is supporting Johan VDV and Sim Stuff Racing. Then Carl's joined us as well, saying, looking good, gents. The SARR boys are running tonight at 9 o'clock on Xbox. Very nice. Hopefully we can get some of that racing later. So Dirkie is having a look on the back of Reeve, and still extremely close between the top 5. Is that while Stephen is opening up a gap, there's only 3.5 seconds between himself, or that's 3 seconds already between himself and Brandon Dos Santos. So Brandon, he's new to the ACC format. That's strange. Why did Stephen was given the white flag? So it looks like there might be a slower car in front of them.
Yeah, that was very strange, but yeah, as you're saying, Brandon doing a very good job in only his second race.
Whoa!
We see someone going a little bit wide there, and I think that was the Sim Stuff Racing guys.
That looked like that was Johan getting it a little bit wrong going into turn number 1. And what that did is it allowed Stefan to go through, as well as, I would believe, Robert and possibly Adrian as well. So there's the 2 Sim Stuff Racing drivers right up behind each other. I think let's just check there. Yeah. So there's Johan. So Adrian wasn't quite able to get through, but Tyler now putting... There's Tyler there, putting a lot of pressure on the back of Adrian. Oh, Adrian taking a lot of the inside curve there in the first chicane. It actually looked like Tyler got a little bit airborne coming up over that crest. Tyler on the inside, that looked like an absolute crack overtake there for Tyler. Put his car on the outside going down the hill, and that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, this is a good battle between Tyler and I believe that's Mr. Bond that he overtook there. So yeah, it looks like somebody's going in the pits.
So
there.
that's Dirkie. I think he might be feeling that he's got a little bit of traffic and he's not able to get those laps in. So he's decided to take an early pit. Look at that. Reeve trying to go around the outside of Sheldon into turn number 1, and there's lots of dirt on the outside. And you can see that Sheldon used that line perfectly and just managed to get himself in front of Reeve. Now into turn number 2, and this is where it's going to be absolute, almost said balls to the walls, but pedal to the metal, coming around turns into turn number 3 now. Now into turn 4. Now, will the Nissan have the straight line speed advantage down the straight towards the chicane at turn number 5? I'm reading Klein, chicane, and 5 at the same time. So from now on, this will be called corner number 5.
So it definitely looks like the Nissans have a bit of an advantage here this evening over the Hondas. The Hondas seem to be struggling. A bit unusual because I would imagine that the Hondas would have a little bit more traction, especially with this type of track that has quite a few corners and twisty parts. So it's just quite interesting how the Nissans are able to get around here and seem to be dominating at the moment.
Cameraman Tim getting it all wrong once again. So just jumping onto Sheldon, and you can see that he is right up behind Brandon Dos Santos now. So 4.5 seconds between Brandon, Sheldon, and then Reeve. So a massive battle here for the top second, third, and fourth place. So we've got 3 drivers that have already taken their pit stops. That is Dirkie, Marshall, and Robert. And you can see 3 very different lines by those 3 drivers going into turn number 2. Johan is closed up onto the back of Stefan once again as they go through turn number 2. Oh, lots of curb there for Johan. That's going to give him a great exit into turn number 3. And Johan in the Nissan going up against the Lexus. Stefan taking some curb on the inside that might just upset him in terms of getting that power down. Once that traction control kicks in, it doesn't deliver all the power down to the ground.
I'm starting to think that this track is a little bit difficult to overtake on. You can see Sheldon has managed to catch the back of Brandon, but he's not able to get past, and I've seen that a couple of times around here this evening. And it's just about the guy.
That was very deep there for Sheldon.
It was. It's just about applying that pressure and forcing the guy in front of you into the mistakes. I think that's where the overtakes of most of the overtakes that happened this evening.
So another little battle. So it looks like Johan has managed to get himself ahead of Stefan, and so is Tyler Scott. And just behind is a newcomer to the series. That is Rockstar Mal. And he's now starting to close up as Tyler goes to the inside, but are not able to get his car in front of Stefan's. Oh, Stefan goes wide, and that allows Tyler up on the inside. So Tyler will move himself up into 6th place as Stefan fights back, putting himself on the inside through turn number 3. But Tyler did have the faster exit speed. He did go on the wider, faster line, so he was able to get himself. And yes, Connor, if you check the Sarco racing.co.za website, it tells you exactly which. I'm only kidding. Yes, boy. Bro, this is Bravo. There's a stick in the bottom right corner saying Bravo. Where's Craig?
Connor.
Indeed.
Connor, it's a bit late, so we do understand. It's past your bedtime now.
So
hopefully you'll be joining us a little bit later in the Alpha Tiers.
I'm just checking. I am bigger than Connor, right? Because one day when he meets me, he did say I am an idiot. I mean, yeah, he said that he himself was the idiot, not that I am the idiot.
Right. Okay, back to the racing, and still out in front with the commanding lead at the moment, Steven.
Sorry, let's go there. Let's go there.
And yeah, doing pretty well. Maybe it's that awesome color scheme that he's set up there, nice pink, and is it like a baby blue?
We'll have to ask Steven to explain that.
Is it a part of the Mamba development?
I have no idea where that comes from. So to the Alpha guys, 2 minutes to your server reset. 2 minutes.
and Brandon Santos still just 4 seconds behind. That time hasn't really increased that much if you consider we're on lap 7, and but that time between Brandon and Sheldon.
Oh!
And then we see Steven making a little bit of mistake, missing his braking point and going a bit wide onto the grass. Commentator's luck there.
I must say that Reeve is having a crack of a race there, and I'm pretty sure that Sheldon is sweating some bricks there, because he hasn't really had much of like such intense pressure for so long. Is that the last race he managed to break away off the start and basically led from start to finish, where now he's in third and has a very eager Reeve behind him and just creeping out. Yes, I tried to bring in a creeping apple there, but it didn't quite work out. You ruined it by saying an eager Reaver. Damn it, now that's gonna stick. So just jumping down the field, and that is a very, very bright orange and red. Actually quite like that. Rockstar Mal closing up on the back of Stefan.
So yeah, good battle here between these two drivers. And not sure what's happening on my side. Oh, there goes Rockstar Mal.
It looked like it was a little bit of a tag on the back of Stefan, so that's now Jacques dropping down a couple of positions. And man, oh man, is that an overtake there for Reeve? Yes, that's Reeve up into third place. So he's managed to get himself ahead of Sheldon, Sheldon in the Honda. And is this now a game on for Reeve to start chasing down Brandon Dos Santos? And talk about a change of events here. Is that we had the Honda out in front in the Brabatier last week, and now it is the turn of the Nissans.
Well, the Nissan, then we got a Lexus in second and another Nissan in third at the moment. So yes, as you say, definitely a change of events here. We did see the Hondas dominating last week, and this week it just seems like the Nissans and the Lexus have a bit of an upper hand on this circuit. It seems to be handling much better, and that's good to see a bit of variety. I saw somebody off the side there, so I wonder who that was that moved over to the side of the track, and that looked like it was Mr. Bugger Joint.
That's Neil, yep, also a newcomer to our series.
So obviously gone off and made a mistake there, and he's found himself in the pits. But that gap between Steven and Brandon closing down, we saw that Steven made that bit of a mistake, and that's allowed for Brandon to just start seeing him ahead of him, and I'm sure that's going to encourage him to apply the pressure or just keep his head down and continue to put in those quick laps in. And I'm just watching Reeve behind him, and that gap is slowly coming down as well, Dylan. So I think we're in for a good fight towards the end of the race, but still the pit stops to come, and anything can happen, as we've seen in the previous races.
Because who we can't discredit is Durkee, because remember Durkee was in fourth place. He was right up there between Reeve and Sheldon.
That's right.
Durkee would have had some free air, so he can be getting in those consistent lap times. Where between Reeve and Sheldon, they've been fighting it out, trying to figure out where they belong. But now let's jump further down the field. This is battle between 7th, 8th, and 9th. So it is Stefan taking on Mr. Bond as well as Ethan down in a 9th position. So a second separating these three drivers. I missed the restart. I had it ready and I didn't push the button. Sorry guys, the server is restarting right now.
So So yes, a close battle here between Stefan, Mr. Bond, and Ethan. And who will come out this battle victorious? Well, Tom was we see somebody going a bit wide there.
I think that's either Tyler or Robert. I think it's Robert. Yep, there we go.
Yep, that's Robert, who's just getting out the way there, letting those guys get through. I think he's possibly a lap down, 2 laps down, so not a very good race for Robert's having here this evening. But this battle for 7th, 8th and 9th is still raging on, and just wondering who's
there goes Adrian.
Mr. Bond gets it a bit sideways, loses the rear end, and touches the wall there, so that's going to allow a bit of a breathing gap for Stefan. And I wonder if Ethan will be able to close on the back of Stefan and start challenging for that 7th position.
So unfortunately for Adrian, that did drop him further down the field, because Miles Jacques was able to get himself past there. And I was just going to say that there must have been a little bit of a comeback there for Reeve, very wide there, because that gap was about 1.9 seconds earlier on. Oh, that was very close. So I'm not sure whether Reeve has possibly overcooked his tires just a little bit. Possibly, yeah, but there's still, there he goes into the pits, so he must have made a little mistake. He was getting a bit of pressure there from Sheldon, decided, okay, the best thing now would go into the pits, just take a bit of a breather, reset a bit, and come out and start chasing the pack again. So now I'm very, very interested to see where Dirkie is going to come in relation to Reeve. So we do know that Dirkie is coming around the backside of the corner, the backside. Coming around the backside. Title of your sextet. It sounds like it's not, but turn number 8, now through turn 9. He will be heading up into the Jackie Ick chicane. And where is Reeve? Reeve is still in the pits as Dirkie now comes out of the last corner. So Reeve is officially moving. It is going to be extremely close. As now Reeve has to go around the outside. We can see him in the background there. So man oh man, Reeve was in 3rd place. Has Dirkie being able to get himself up there, and it looks like that Dirkie is technically now in 3rd position, ahead of Reeve, with both drivers now having taken a pit. Reeve goes a bit wide there and lost a bit of time. So he is back here. I can see that he has lost just a little bit of time there. But now I'm sure Reeve will be watching the positions, knowing that Dirkie has pitted. And I'm sure that it's going to be head down time and hopefully start reeling him in. So 24 minutes left of this race, and still out in front we got Steven. Oh, I keep on calling Steven with a commanding lead of 4.2 seconds over Brandon in 2nd position at the moment. 3rd position Sheldon, but remember guys, these guys still have to pit. We saw now Reeve coming out the pits in 10th position, and Dirkie has managed to make his way past, and he's currently in 9th position. So still the top 9 guys have to pit, and then we see Ethan now deciding that's time that he needs to go in the pits. So that moves Dirkie up into 8th position. Sheldon now a 1.5 seconds gap between himself and Brandon Santos, and that gap between Steven and Brandon's coming down, so I wonder if Steven's made another little mistake. I've just noticed Adrian Bond is serving a 30-second stop and go. Wow. So we have our spy, our official safety car, and that is the Porsche, in our Alpha tier. And no one has really put in a time just yet, other than Sarge right at the top at 1:32, and I'm pretty sure that those lap times will be coming down.
You mean JJ the Greek?
Apologies, that is correct. So 12 drivers in the Alpha tier, a drive-through penalty now for Neil. So just jumping to Johan VDV, he's got an almighty battle here with Tyler, 0.1 of a second. That is the halfway point. And this is where the guys will now start thinking, what do I do in terms of the pit strategy? When do I come in? So Tyler staying very defensive on the inside into the first chicane. And I just wish that we had a better camera view. Whoa, Johan taking a lot of curb on the exit. But we did see Tyler taking the wider line here and making that pass, which was absolutely fantastic. Both drivers taking a lot of curb, and whoa, a little too hot there for Johan. So Johan not able to make that stick move, which is going to just free up that little bit of pressure between Tyler and himself. But look at this, half a second between Brandon and Sheldon. These guys still need to pit, and Reeve not letting Dirkie get away. So there is Dirkie, there is Reeve. So these guys are still definitely having at it. And this is your battle for a second and a third place. So absolute crazy battles happening all over. And as I mentioned that, there's another battle as well. And this is Jacques chasing down the original Stefan.
So I wonder if you'll see Stefan doing a late pit stop like he did last week at Spa. And then unfortunately made that Lewis Hamilton hash of it by going into the gravel and then not able to get himself reversed out quick enough, and it unfortunately cost him a podium position. But
yeah, he did say afterwards that it was just pure panic that set in. He couldn't find reverse gear, the car wasn't going. So this is Jacques having a look around the outside in turn number 4. So it's a very dangerous place to have a go. So the other thing I was about to say, because I saw Johan was saying that he was now coming out of the pits, but this is him now coming out of the pits, and he is behind Reeve and Dirkie. So Marshall is just behind Johan. There's Johan there, and there's Marshall in the background. So Marshall, he pitted very early. I'm not sure whether he got caught up in a bit of traffic earlier on, but he's also not out of this just yet. So here we go, Brandon Dos Santos, and it looks like Sheldon is just copying him to make sure that their strategies are aligned.
The gap suddenly jumped to 17 seconds between Stephen and Brandon there, but I can see both those drivers going to the pits.
So here's Dirkie and Reeve coming down the start-finish line.
Wow,
and where's
massive.
Brandon's still in the pits, and so is Sheldon. So unfortunately, these guys have lost places down the order.
Wow, that is a massive loss. So it just shows you the pace of Dirkie. He's managed to fight his way back. We saw him pitting early and did take that different strategy, and it seems to have definitely worked off. He's now gone past both Reeve and Brandon, and
so there's confirmation. Brandon and Sheldon are down in 7th and 8th place respectively, with 4 drivers ahead of them. But the thing that we're most interested in is that Reeve has got 13 seconds on Brandon DeSantos. Who would have thought that?
That is, I'm just trying to do the maths, and I'm wondering what went wrong here. I wonder if Brandon accidentally changed something that he wasn't supposed to, because that pit stop was much longer than you know, the average pit stop here. So something he must have did and caused the upset. I think he probably changed tires or something that maybe the other guys didn't.
So here we go. So Stephen now in the pit. So Stephen is leaving the pit, so he will need to do that very, very wide exit and entry back. And here comes Reeve and Dirkie. So they've just crossed the start-finish line. So Stephen is out into turn number 2. So these two have been going absolutely balls to the wall. That is not the title of my sex tape. But 18 seconds between Stephen now. So Tyler Scott has now taken up the first position here this race this evening. So Reeve flashing Dirkie, having an absolute ding-dong battle here between these guys. So there's Stephen. He's already through the chicane. And just behind so there's Tyler. So Tyler is now coming through turns number 7, now approaching 8. Stephen is not too far behind him, and Reeve is okay. So Reeve and Dirkie are about 2 corners behind, and it does look like that Reeve is being a little bit slowed down here by Dirkie, so he's going to have to really time this overtake. Reeve having a little show on the inside into turn 8, not able to make that pass, but now it's about getting that power down, getting a perfect straight line. Will you move to the inside here into the chicane turn number 10?
No, I can definitely tell you from there's somebody who's gone a bit wide there, but I can definitely tell you from experience.
Yes, look at that.
So
Dirkie went, had to take a evasive action and cut off to miss the Sim Stuff Racing driver. Now will Reeve try and go around the outside? So Dirkie goes a little bit deep, and they looks like they were going to touch there. And Dirkie is just able to defend and hold on to that position. But now Reeve to the inside, he takes a lot of curb with him, and just not able to overtake. Once again, flashing of the lights from Reeve. And that's Dirkie. He spins it on his own, and it's going to be collected by the other cars coming through.
That was unbelievably close.
No, Dirkie's struggling to get this car in a straight line, but there's cars all over the place. So I think that was who's now gone ahead of him? Is that Brandon?
I would imagine so.
So there's Brandon. Oh my goodness, because it is not only Brandon, but it is also Sheldon. Then it is Dirkie. So Dirkie down in a 7th position, with Tyler and Stefan still needing to pit, which means that Dirkie is now technically down in a 5th position and fighting hard to try and get himself further up the field.
Yeah, well, I was just, as I was saying earlier, that this track is very difficult to overtake, and I think that the only way you can possibly overtake is to force your opponent ahead of you into a mistake, and that's exactly what Reeve did. He applied super amount of pressure to Dirkie, and unfortunately Dirkie just cracked and made that slight mistake, and that was pretty much the end of that battle.
So that now lets Reeve out into a 2nd place. Man, oh man, I'm sure the hearts are absolutely flying. And we see that Niels had a disqualification down in 14th place. So Tyler is now going to be leaving the pits. So this is going to be very close. Tyler's in a really good position, because these guys are now only approaching. I'm so confused at the cars and what's happening as they cross the line.
Is that Jerky in the pits,
So
so I wonder if he's picked up damage and decided to go into the pits now. It's most unfortunate, he was doing so well. And I think it was from sprinting, and then a couple of guys collected him on that
Marshall,
corner.
that was very close.
So still 13 minutes left on the clock. Stefan in third position. Still has not pitted yet. And definitely playing the long game here. He's going to try get it, wait right to the end before he decides to make his pit stop. But out in front with a 10-second lead at the moment is Steven. And almost a faultless, except for that one little mistake we saw earlier in the race, but he's been dominating out in front at the moment and doing a really good job. In second position we saw Reeve having some mighty battles with Sheldon and then with Durkee, and now finds himself in second position chasing down Steven. And a bit of an arse, I mean, for that 10 seconds to close up in 12 minutes, he's going to have to try his very best. In third position, we see Brandon Santos now moving past Stefan, and so he's now moved back up into third position. Not sure what happened with him in the pit stops because he lost a lot of time there, so I suspect that maybe he is on a different strategy, decided maybe that the best thing would be to change the tires, and let's see if he can close that gap, your front leaders, with 11.5 minutes left on the clock.
So absolutely incredible. There's Robert, just been served a drive-through penalty. So these drive-through penalties are if you do exit out of the track limits, and once you go out of those track limits, you're able to do that 3 times, or after the 3rd time you do get that drive-through penalty to a point where you'll have a stop and go. And the worst case scenario is, as you can see with Neil, a full disqualification.
So Sheldon now at the back of Stefan, and trying to find a gap here. Stefan going on the defense, not making it very easy for Sheldon. They are fighting for position, although Stefan has not pitted yet. So 2 different races, basically strategies going on here. And you see that Sheldon looking on the inside and the outside, trying whatever you can.
Oh, that's a very dangerous place, but Stefan taking a lot of curb, getting all 4 of those wheels off the ground. So does that allow Sheldon to get the drive on him into the chicane, turn number 5? No, it doesn't.
This is really hurting Sheldon's hopes of catching Brandon, because he's just not able to find the gap, and it's actually hurting his tires and slowing him down. But he must be just longing for Stefan to go into the pits so that he can be released to chase after Brandon.
So I see that we have 7 minutes left of the free practice in our Alpha tier. Then Ashley will go and join them there for the driver's briefing. We'll do our driver's interviews while we'll have the qualifying in the background, and get you this incredible ACC racing in our Japanese tour here live at Sarco. So Stephen, our race leader out in front, quite a substantial lead, has led from start to finish. Then an incredible drive there by Reeve. Had little mistake there by Stefan. Is that Stefan or is that Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon suddenly disappeared. Looks like he's disconnected completely.
Because that car was definitely circulating. It was definitely... Oh, there is somebody behind him.
I don't see him on the...
Yeah, so we have unfortunately lost Brandon. That's going to be extremely disappointing for him. He was sitting in third place, had really driven extremely hard to get himself there. So Brandon, if you do join on the chat, just let us know, did you disconnect, what's going on? And I see 14 drivers in the Alpha tier, so Ashley, you're definitely going to have your work cut out for you this evening.
Yeah. Not looking forward to that.
So just reading some of the comments, we got Thomas Pretoria saying, let's go Johan VDV. Anton Ruchte, I hope I said that right, saying Kim Toki Giagas. Papa, sorry I forgot the Papa, I must just read one line further down. Then Alan van Graan, he's saying, evening gents, he has a Pool 1 GTSA race this evening, enjoy. Alan, thanks for joining us and popping in to say how's it. We always do appreciate those messages, so keep them coming in. Oh, the mistake there by Stefan, which has now allowed, those tires are extremely dirty. Stefan just manages to catch it. So I think this should be the time where he goes in, gets that moment just to calm his nerves just a little bit, and at least he can get on with the rest of the race. So Rockstar Jacques down in 9th position. He was having a few of those mid-tier battles. So there's Brandon. He has come back into the lobby, but this has put him down in 10th place. That is absolutely disappointing. But Brandon, all we can say is once that 30-second counter stops, get yourself back into the track, claim as many of those points as you could possibly get, and at least you don't go away empty-handed.
Dylan, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to try to do a couple of practice laps here.
No worries, just let us know how it's going.
Feeling way out of my league at the moment.
So there goes Brandon back onto the track, and man, you can only feel for him, unfortunately, being disconnected. There's a little bit of a glitch that happened there. So definitely an amazing drive here for Reeve. He has fought his way through the field, started in 5th place, had an amazing battle with Sheldon, got himself behind Dirkie and was pushing with all his might. Steven is still out in front. 12 seconds is the gap he's got over Reeve. Then Sheldon in 3rd place. He's had a really, really good drive this evening. Stefan up in 4th for the moment, but with just over 4.75 minutes left. He still needs to pit, so he will find himself falling down the order. Then in 5th place we have Marshall, which means that we've lost Johan. So indeed, Johan VDV is no longer in the lobby. So he was doing well up in 5th place, which now promotes Marshall up into 5th. Tyler, he's in 6th position. Dirkie in 7th. Then we've got Rockstar Mal, who we know as Jacques. He's in 8th position. Then Robert in 9th. Ethan down in 10th place. He's really battled to get this Lexus going, considering he came from a McLaren. Then Adrian Bond in the GTR. He's in 11th place for some stuff rating. Brandon DeSantos down in 12th place. Very disappointing for him. And then unfortunately Neil disqualifying himself 17 laps ago. So guys, on the comments, let us know who you think the driver of the day is. Is it Stephen for being able to get himself ahead, put in the qualifying, and has just put in those consistent lap times? Is it Reeve being able to fight his way from 5th place to get himself up on the podium? We've also had Sheldon, who had a great drive, but it just seemed to not have the pace this evening. The Honda definitely being outdone here by the GTRs. Marshall up into 4th place. That is an absolute great result there for him. So guys, 2.5 minutes are left of this race. It has been an absolute crack of a race. Lots and lots of action all throughout of this 45 minutes. 10-minute qualifying basically puts the guys up on their starting positions. So 26 laps. So Stephen will now start the 27th. So there will be this lap plus one more. So a total of 29 laps have been completed in the 45 minutes.
So then I'm going to shoot over to the Alpha Tiers to just do the driver's briefing.
Fantastic. One and a half minutes, guys. So Stephen in the 777, it is Nissan, Honda, Lexus, Honda, Nissan, Lexus, Nissan. So comment coming from Sean Prince saying, great driving all round, congrats Stephen, but seriously good work there from Reeve. Had to fight very hard for that second spot, and Sean, I cannot agree with you anymore. If I had to give a driver of the day, not to discredit the effort that Stephen has put in, being able to get himself out in front in a convincing lead and win. But definitely I would say that Reeve is the driver of the day, fighting through the field and taking that second spot. So we'll watch our race leader, I almost said winner, but our race leader coming through into the second of the chicanes. And this is now through turn number 7. You'll now go through the kink, then into turn number 8, the hairpin. Lots and lots of changes of direction here. There is the 3 chicanes, lots of fast sweeps, which is in turns 1, turns 2, 3 and 4. Chicane 5, a sweep into 6, a chicane into a sweep into 7, a kink which takes you down into a hairpin at turn 8, a little kink at 9, and then another chicane. And a great drive there for Stephen as he crosses the line to take a win here in the Bravo tier, followed by Reeve, a creeping apple, a second for him. So flash those lights and take a bow. So a great result there for you. Then Sheldon coming home in 3rd place. There we have a Marshall, a 4th place for him. Tyler comes home in 5th, Dirkie 6th, then a Jacques in 7th place, Stefan in 8th, Robert 9th, Ethan in 10th place, Adrian Bond in 11th, Brandon DeSantos, a disappointing 12th there for him, Johan VDB in 13th place, a disconnection for him as well, and our safety car, the Chase the Air, down in a 14th place, did not count, and a disqualification for Neil.
Green light, go, go, go.
Thanks, boys.
Oh,
We're
well
right
done.
road.
Well done, guys.
Thank you very much.
I just have one question quickly. Did any of you guys suffer server lag, like for 30 to 20 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Like the last
Oh,
7
God.
minutes, and all of a sudden they came alive.
So guys, we have just been given the confirmation from Ashley that the qualifying has started. We are going to be jumping into that right now. We are waiting for our drivers to jump in into the chat. So while we get everybody ready, here's a little view of the Alpha tier start while we just get everyone ready. Enjoy. Interesting. Okay, so Stephen has now got everyone lined up. We can see that we will be having a rolling start. Once everyone is in position, it is up to Stephen out in front to decide when he wants to go. But it does sound like he's keeping it right till the end. And obviously with the Ferrari, he wants to try and minimize the advantage from the Camaros as possible. So Stephen now leads us into turn number 1 with Brandon Hills in 2nd place. Then it is Gavin in 3rd. Jakes is in 4th with Morris 5th. Then Christopher. Tyler Scott in 7th. Durkee is in 8th. Vaughan in 9th. And then Adrian down in 10th position as Jakes is just about side by side with Gavin as they come up through turn number 4. But now it is too wide. Brandon and Stephen. And then Gavin and Jakes. This is not looking good. Oh, Stephen. Looks like he had turned in and taken Jakes right underneath him. Right, evening guys. Let's start off with you, Sheldon. A 3rd place for you. Start a little bit further up, but man oh man, pressure for you the entire race.
Yeah, I don't know. It was not from start, actually from qualifying. I didn't get a good clean lap. I know I can get a 31-2. I know Steven's pace. I checked in during the practice, so I knew technical plan. Especially on this track, it's very, very hard to overtake. But with this Honda, the minutes I got behind the car, my Honda was all over the place. It felt like a different beast the minutes I was in clear air.
So as part of the strategy, you were pushing and you were chasing. Could you not have possibly put that car into cleaner air, pit a little bit sooner?
I thought of it, but I had already made up my mind. 3rd position would be fine for me in the race. My consistency around this track is terrible. I can do a 131 one lap. Next lap I can do a 134. So I felt 3rd position. It's fine. When I did decide to come into the pits, I think I hit Steven. I think I made a late, not Steven, I think it was Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. I made a late decision to go into the pits and I smacked into him, so I think that's hurt his race and mine as well.
It was an absolute fantastic, and man, oh man, the way you were absorbing that pressure there from Reeve. So Reeve, not in our chat party, unfortunately, so let's go to you, Stephen. We were having a bit of a debate, and obviously to not discredit your effort this evening, led from start to finish. We did kind of say that Reeve almost got the drive of the day because he fought himself from 5th place through the field, but then managed to just sneak in behind you and almost a flawless drive, because we did see one of the corners. You went into the hairpin at turn number 8. You did go deep, so we do have that. But otherwise, an absolute fantastic drive for you.
Yeah, no, the car was great. Yeah, I've been practicing my ass off. So I have to say thanks to Chris, the Mamba team, Jakes, Marius, all behind me. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be on the podium tonight.
Well, guys, all I can say is to the team members, take a bow. I had absolutely nothing to do with that, but I'm glad that in my absence that the Mamba fever still exists. Absolutely fantastic.
It does.
Right, guys, thank you so much, and we hope to see you on the stream. We are heading over to the Alpha tier now. Looking forward to that. Guys, thank you so much. Well done, Sheldon. Well done, Stephen.
Good man, just
And Reeve, if you are watching, you should be here. We definitely want to hear how your race has gone. So hopefully next time, please. So let's just get ourselves into the qualifying for the Alpha tier, and hopefully we can get just the end of that qualifying. There we go. We'll see you on the other side. So guys, here we have top of the tables is Jacques Racing, but extremely close, half a second between himself and Ryan. That is absolutely fantastic to see. The Chasing Beavers really putting in some great results this evening. So Jacques Racing out in front, a 130.0. Then it is Paul 0.4 behind, then Jake's 0.4 behind. Ryan 0.5 behind, then Marius 0.6, 0.8 seconds now separating the first 7 drivers. Man, oh man, it looks like we are in for an absolute cracker this evening now for the Bravo tier as well. So guys, we are just going to watch the last minutes of the qualifying. I am just going to have to leave the camera here. Nature does call, but I will be back in approximately 2 minutes. So I'm back, and it does look like I've missed some action because Morris has gone fast as the 129.9, and Jacques still just in the 130.0s. Dion van Heerden, he's 0.1 to go there as well. So guys, I am going to just leave this lobby now, the qualifying, so we are able to catch the start of the race, because it did take us just over a few minutes to get going. So we'll just continue the race highlights that we had from our race on Monday night. There is just about 8 minutes left to go there. So enjoy. A lag, did they not know that Jakes had got so far up? Because it doesn't look like there's any damage on Stephen's car. And it didn't look like that he was affected at all by that.
Yeah, we're in
So
a
very
max weight
strange
time.
indeed. Lots of weird things that we've seen happening on Stephen's car. But still, a battle happens. Gavin now having a look to the inside on Gavin. He's got Morris on his outside with Christopher trying to attack him behind. You can definitely see there's a bit of damage on Jakes' car. But Stephen leads with Brandon, and then Morris is sneaking up on the inside of Gavin. That was a great move for him. But Morris just about touching the outside wall. Christopher now looking to capitalize on getting up the order. He's right behind Gavin now. So Brandon now goes into the pits. I wonder whether that was not a jump start from him. So Brandon now will need to be rejoining down in 10th place, which leaves Stephen out in front. Morris is in second. Oh, Christopher, big tail slapper there for him. And here comes Jakes now on the outside. It looks like he should be able to get the drive around him on turn number 4. Then it is Gavin. Dirkie's moving up the order now. Then Tyler Scott in 7th place. Side by side through the inner loop is Christopher and Jakes. That is something you do not want to do, but they've managed to get through there unscathed, the both of them. Jakes is wide. Christopher a tighter line on the inside. It looks like Stephen had a little bit of a moment there, because he's now dropped further down. He's in 2nd place. Morris is now the new race leader. And here comes Dirkie in the black and yellow Camaro. And Gavin, he's not giving up this fight just yet. He's still fighting hard there. But now Jakes has Christopher all over his rear bumper.
And Dylan, there is one thing when the racing's so close, that spray from the track, the rain, really makes it difficult.
Right, guys, that was just some of the highlights from Monday's race as we were just waiting to get the race underway. We have got the rolling start, don't push drive, just a jump here, Dylan. So we are now officially racing, and it is Paul who has got the top of the table with Morris in 2nd place and Jacques in 3rd. Let's just jump down to 4th so we can see, side by side. There is some touching there, and it looks like that is Marius or Dion van Heerden got caught up there. But we've got Jakes now. Jakes is facing the wrong way, so is Marius, and there's a driver off out in turn number 2. So lots and lots of offs happening so early on in the race, and that looked like it was right from the beginning. There was about 3 wide, and it looked like Marius and... So Marius, Dion, Jakes and Connor all touching, and that has now really mixed up what's happening out in front, because it's now put Paul first, Flip Van Sale in a second, then Janneman in the third place, Ronaldo fourth, Pete fifth, Ashley sixth, Duppy seventh, Jason in eighth, Jacques racing in a ninth position, then Dion van Heerden 10th, Morris 11th, Jakes 12th, Connor in 13th place, and then Ryan down in 14th. We'll move to the inside. That is very late and very deep, but it does look like was that Jacques? So yes, that was Jacques moving himself up ahead of Dion. So Jacques deciding now to go into the pits. Does Marius follow? No, he does not. But Greg has decided that now's the time for him to go into the pits. And that releases, you can see, a very, very big gap. Out in front is Paul. You can see the colors have changed. They are Paul and Jacques have decided to go back to their racing logistics nightmare colors in the orange and the black, because they don't have Ross racing with them, which means that they can't be Project Wetcat racing. So they're just bringing back a little bit of their heritage with them. So down in fourth place, that is Pete, closing that gap up on Ronaldo, who's ahead of him. But then we've got Ashley in the GTR, also now closing up. Dion van Heerden starting to make his way through the field now in that Lexus, so he's up into 7th place. And there's Jason a little bit further down. He's in a 9th place. Got Morris closing down. Looks like Morris was going a little bit slower than expected. So Morris closing up on the back of Duppy. So side by side is Morris and Duppy as they head towards the line. It looks like Morris will be able to get a run around the outside into turn number 1. And he has been able to make that move quite easily in the end there. So Ashley in the GTR closing up on the back of the Honda. And that is Pete in 4th place. So pits for Jacques, Greg, Connor and Ryan. 30-second stop and go for Greg. He's not going to be happy with that. So we jump to Dion as while Ashley is closing up on the back of Pete. Dion is looking for a way around Ashley. Ashley in 5th place in that GTR. And it is absolutely incredible to think that we have a Honda who is top of the leaderboard at this stage. Just knowing that it was a GTR Lexus, and then a Honda in our Bravo tier. You see Dion van Heerden carrying a little bit of damage, so that could be just impacting his downforce going into the corner. But he has taken a much tighter line on the inside. And I do see that Morris is starting to close that gap, so he's now coming to the picture in the background there. So Dion getting a great exit in through turn 4. Now he's going to head towards the chicane. He has been able to make that move stick. Has he been braked himself? No, he hasn't. He has got through there safely. So Dion now up into 5th place. And in shot is Jacques Racing down in 9th place. And it is interesting to see that all the drivers that have pitted there isn't any drivers out of position who haven't pitted, is what I was trying to get at. So just looking at who's joined us on the stream, Nicky Pearson saying, I'm here for JJ, go and make the best of this race. So, unlucky there, Nicky, is that JJ already finding himself with a 30-second stop go penalty. So, I'm actually just wondering whether Ashley can still hear me, because Morris is now closing up on him. You're going to look for an opportunity. Will he try go around the outside into turn number 2? And it looks like Ashley just braked a little bit earlier there, allowed him to go past, which has now freed up Morris into 6th place. So in shot, Ronaldo. Oh no, that is Paul, the Rainmaster, who was in 1st place. He is now spun it, lost it at the chicane. So that's put him down in 3rd place. But not only that, in 3rd place, he's got Pete right up behind him, followed by Dion and Marius. So that is not what the Eleanor driver was wanting. So talk about applying the pressure. Now Paul is got 4 cars behind him that are within 2 seconds of him. That is going to make things extremely interesting for him. So to any of the Bravets here, guys, if you are watching and you do want to come and talk to us about your race, please do feel free, jump into the Discord, come and chat with us. We would love to hear from your point of view. And then why not just stick around and let's talk about what's happening in this race currently. So it does look like Paul has been able to open up just a little bit of a gap between himself and Pete. That's now gone to just over 1 second. But who's putting the pressure now is Dion van Heerden on the back of Pete, and Marius is right there as well. So a chaos in the first corner, but it does look like everyone is now settling, getting themselves ready to race. Still 36 minutes left, so there's still lots and lots of action still to come. So Greg deciding that now is the time for him to take his pit stop to go and serve that time penalty, as Peter catches a lot of curb coming out of the chicane, which now gets Dion van Heerden through, as well as Marius, who's closing up on the back of Dion all the time, as Dion takes a lot of that chicane. I wonder whether that will be a warning. So we'll just jump up to Paul, and that's Paul being chased down by Dion, Marius and Pete. But out in front is Flip van Zyl, who's got a 2.6 second lead over Ronaldo in 2nd place. And it is just like that how your race can change. Paul was out in front, took way too much of the 2nd curb, going through the 1st chicane, spun it out, had to wait for both Ronaldo and Paul to go past, and that's unfortunately put him down in 3rd place, and 3.7 seconds is the gap now between him and Ronaldo, and he has a very, very racy Dion van Heerden and Marius behind him. So through turns number 7, that gap between Marius and Dion is getting extremely close now. So now Marius, I'm sure he'll be looking for an opportunity. Does he go late here into turn number 8? Not close enough to make that attack. Ashley's now also closing up onto the back of Pete, so half a second is the gap between them there. Ronaldo is closing up just a little bit in his GTR in terms of that gap between himself and Flip Van Sale. Let's see when they across the lines. It was 2.3, so only 0.1 of a second has Ronaldo been able to close up on that lap. So it's going to jump down to a 5th and a 6th place. Just wanting to see whether Morris is able to find that gap, and is that a slight mistake that Morris has been looking for. Dion getting that car airborne. So this is what we talk about a Mamba fever. And I'm pretty sure that Dion is starting to feel it. So Dion and Marius closing up that gap between themselves and Paul Fenter, who's currently in 3rd place. So we did mention it with Ashley earlier on in the Bravo tier. It is so difficult to overtake on this track. You really have to force that mistake onto the driver in front of you. So is this Morris going to try go around the outside into turn number 2? So Morris trying to go, he's on the outside once again into turn 3, takes a little bit too much curb on the outside. So that should just ease some of that pressure between himself and Dion now. Let's just jump back to the battle between 6th and 7th, and as we do that, Ashley running a little bit wide, coming out of the first chicane. So Jacques Racing is in 9th place, and it all depends on what his lap times have been. Is still more than half the field, still has to pit. So that gap is, what's that, 17, and that's probably a total of another 23, 27. So 27 seconds in total is the gap between Jacques and Flip Van Sale, who's a current race leader. And as Ronaldo crossed the start finish line, that gap now back to 2.7. So unfortunately for Ronaldo is that Flip has been able to open up a little bit of a gap, and I think that was possibly through a mistake, because Paul Fenter is now right up on the back of Ronaldo. 1.1 is the gap now. So there's the race leader going under the Yokohama Bridge. And it looks like Morris has been able to get himself ahead of Dion. So it was setting himself up into the second chicane. Morris was able to get himself ahead. So there's that confirmation. So Morris now into 4th place, Dion down into 5th. But we still want to see what's happening with this battle between Ronaldo and Paul Fenter. Ronaldo going defensive onto the inside into the Jackie Eck, and Ronaldo goes very deep through the chicane, which is going to allow Paul to go around the outside. So Jakes is in the pit, so not a very good race for Jakes at this stage. So now Ronaldo just needs to stick with Paul and hopefully make use of that GTR advantage, because that is what we've seen on this race this evening. So the driver in the middle there is actually Sarge. There he is there in the Chasing Beaver colours. Oh, Sarge getting airborne. So the current positions is Flippensail out in front. He's got 4 seconds on Paul. Then it is Ronaldo in 3rd place. Morris, he's in 4th. Deon van Heerden in 5th place with Pete in 6th. I didn't see who that was, but someone was going. It was Ashley, so he's dropped that place. And looks like will hang on to that place. Duppy down in 8th place. Then Jacques Vermeulen, he's in 9th. Still only the 6 drivers that have pitted, so 8 of them are still to go. So guys, I just wanted to mention our season, I was going to say series and season at the same time. Sponsor is CT Auto Electrical. They do specialize in racing harnesses as well as auto electrics. So if you do want to find out more, the details are in the description below. You are able to give Craig a call and he'll be able to assist you with some of these. As we see, Duppy now decides that he's going to take his pit stop now. So Marius, I was watching the gap between Marius and Ronaldo and wanted to just see what would happen. But it looks like by the time we had got there, Marius had already made the move around Ronaldo. So Marius now in 3rd place. And 3.6 seconds is the gap between Marius and Paul Venter. Paul now 2.8 seconds behind Flippensail. So Paul is definitely closing up. So it does seem like Ronaldo is just losing just a little bit of his way. But I was listening into the Brabant here and they did say that it did feel like they were experiencing some turbo lag. So I'm not sure whether the new 2020 mapping has changed the performance of the cars, that it possibly overheats for a little bit. Then the car slows down, and as it slows down and starts getting back to the right temperatures, that the power kicks in. So definitely want to find that out from our current Alpha tier drivers. So that gap between Paul and Flippensail is closing every single lap. It's just a couple of hundredths of a second. And still we are not quite sure where Jacques Racing is in comparison to Flippensail. So just over 2 seconds is that gap now between Flip and Paul. 16 seconds between Ashley and Jacques Racing. So if we take that 16 seconds, so that's 16, that's 19, 22, 20, 26. (28), 30, so that's 30 seconds. Is 30 seconds enough of a gap for a Flip to go into the pits and come out ahead of Jacques. So that is the battle for first, second and third place in the background there. Not to discredit Jacques or Connor. So we've just seen Dion van Heeren go past, but cameraman Tim is a little bit slow on the uptake. And there in front in the gold and purple trim, that is Ryan. He is in 12th position, but keeping his own here, ahead of Dion. So I'm pretty sure it would have been a very different race if Ryan was not a lap down. Half a second now is the gap between Paul and Dion. So this is the current battle for the leader. And three different manufacturers, Lexus, Honda and Nissan. And I'm sure that Paul would be going through that chicane very cautiously. That is what cost him his first place earlier on in this race.
We are at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
So just the confirmation, we are halfway through this race. And I wonder whether Paul is feeling that pressure to try and get ahead of a Flip as fast as he can. Because the longer he stays behind Flip, you see Flip going very defensive onto the inside into turn number 8. This is allowing Marius to close up onto the back of them. So here we go, the first of the leaders go into the pits. So Paul will now take his pit stop. And I'm pretty sure that he's now going to want to try and see whether he can't do the undercut ahead of Flip van Sail. So I want to see where Jacques Racing is. So he's now gone through turn number 8. So he'll be heading towards the chicane at turn number 10 once cameraman Tim catches up. So that is Jacques Racing. So once Paul has exited out of that pit lane, you can see that it has now gone green, so he is moving. So Jacques has been on an absolutely blinding pace, because we can hear Jacques now going in through turn number 1. So he will come out in the top spot ahead of his teammate. So there's the Rainmaster now heading towards turn number 4, where Jacques is already heading down the straight towards the chicane. So Jacques taking the early pit stop has definitely helped him, so it's not sacrifice, help him salvage the race is the word I was looking for. So Marius now goes into the pits with Flip van Sail leading once again in lap number 16. So I'm pretty sure that this is when the guys are going to start going in, making those changes. Dion van Heeren is on the back of Ronaldo once again. Is Dion going to go around the outside into turn number 2? He's definitely going to give it a go. So he now cuts onto the inside through turn number 3. Now he'll go into turn 4. Can he tighten up on that exit? Get that power down. Put himself in a position on the inside through the first chicane. Ronaldo goes to defend on the inside. So Marius is now out of the pits. Where is Jacques? So Jacques, there we go, in first place. He's already gone through the first chicane. Morris in third place, you can see behind Paul. So there's Paul now going through the chicane where Morris is now approaching it. So 9 seconds is the gap between Paul and Jacques, and 9 seconds between Morris and Paul. So the field definitely is starting to spread out. But now it is back to Dion, trying to get himself ahead of Ronaldo. And it does seem like this GTR is really putting up a massive battle. Well, that Ronaldo very, very wide out of turn 3. So is this the opportunity for Dion to get the run on him? But it does look like he's about a car's length behind. Ronaldo getting a little bounce off the curb, so he's going to try and go defensive. He'll stay on the inside, but I can Dion sweep around the outside into the braking zone, into the chicane. We saw Tyler make a move there, but now he's had to go straight on. He will cut the track, and that allows Jacques to go through once again. So here is the battle further down, and that is Pete in 4th place. Being chased down by Ashley. Not sure who the driver is behind. It is one of the Lexus drivers. Yeah, there we go. So that is Greg. There's the confirmation. So Greg trying to unlap himself. Not a very good race here for Greg. Having a 30-second stop and go penalty. So Dion has to now go and recoup all that work that he had done earlier. 16.5 minutes left of this Alpha tier race. So both Ronaldo and Dion through safely. Dion not close enough to do the similar overtake as he did earlier on, but by carrying so much speed around the outside, he did outbrake himself, put himself on the dirt, and had to allow Ronaldo to go through once again. So Ashley up into 4th place, managed to get himself ahead of Pete. So while Flip Patel is currently the race leader with Ronaldo in 2nd and Dion in 3rd place, Jacques is the first of the drivers who have pitted, followed by Rainmaster in 9th place, Morris in 3rd. So Pete now has Greg behind him. So there's Ashley, Pete, and then Greg, followed by Jacques Racing. So still 5 drivers up in front, still need to pit. It definitely does look like the cars get airborne going over that crest. So we did miss the overtake. Dion has got himself ahead of Ronaldo. So Dion now up into second place, but he does find himself 18 seconds behind his teammate. So now the question is, where does he slot in? Oof. Ronaldo running very wide out of the last corner. So Ashley into the pits. So Paul has gone past him. Here comes Morris. O'Connor now heads into the last chicane, followed very closely by Jason. So Ashley not moving just yet. We can hear the cry of despair coming from Ashley because they're obviously doing something on his car. Because next coming up in through the last chicane is Dupi. Dupi currently in 11th place. So Ashley is moving, but I don't think that he will be able to get himself ahead of Dupi, because as we can hear, Dupi now going into turn number 1. So Ashley should be able to just see him go past. And more trouble there for Ashley. A 30-second stop and go penalty for him. So Jacques was able to get himself ahead of Pete. So 7.9 seconds between Marius and Paul, and then 9 seconds between Paul and Jacques. So 11.5 minutes left to go of this Alpha tier. And out in front, Flip van Sale has led for a good couple of laps, so he will now across the line to begin lap number 22. Oh, wow, that looked like it might have been a bit of a glitch there, because there's no ways that Dion came in so hot into the pits. So Ronaldo now goes up into second place, but there's Jacques going into turn number 1. So Jacques running a little bit right into turn 1 on that exit, kicking up just a little bit of the dirt there. So still Pete and Ronaldo, Flip themselves still to pit. Ronaldo making a little bit of a hash coming out of the first chicane. You can see that he did straighten up, but rather straighten up than hit that curb and let it bounce you off the track. So 7.5 seconds between Paul closing down on Marius, and Marius 7.2 seconds to close up on Paul. So a very different result here this evening. to what we saw last week. So it does look like we have both Ryan and Jake's retiring in this race. You can see Ryan 6 laps down and Jake's 13 laps behind. So Ronaldo and Pete, they both decide that now's the time to go into the pits. So they do have Morris who will now move himself ahead. Connor, he's now coming through the last corner, followed by Jason. So it looks like Jason will be able to get himself ahead of Ronaldo and Pete as well. So that means that Morris is in 3rd place, Connor's in 4th, and Jason in 5th position. So Ronaldo is on his way out, and so is Pete. But there we see Connor and Jason going through turn number 4. But where was Duppy in all of this? So Duppy is only crossing the start-finish line, so the positions have now adjusted. So there's that confirmation. But Jacques is 24 seconds behind Flip, as Flip now comes into the pits. So Jacques now coming through the last chicane, followed by his teammate who is 10 seconds. And Morris in the background there, he's found a little bit of pace later on here. 5 seconds now is the gap between Paul Fenter and Morris. So Flip is now on the move. Where does that put him? Because now Morris goes past. We haven't seen Flip in the pit lane yet. Here comes Connor and Jason out of the last corner. So this is going to be very, very close, because that puts Flip van Zyl in a 4th position, ahead of Connor and Jason. So that is an absolute fantastic result there for him. So that pit stop really did work in his favor. He did go very deep into the race. So I'm pretty sure that he can be happy with coming out of the pits in a 4th position. So your race leader with 6 minutes 15 seconds to go is Jacques Vermeulen for the Logistical Nightmare Racing. It is a 1-2 so far for Logistical Nightmare Racing. Morris for the Green Mambas, he is in 3rd place. In 4th is Flip van Zyl. And I want to say Tacoma. No, Tecumseh. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to check that team name. Sorry Flip, I didn't mean to butcher your name once again. Takumi, got it. So Flip van Zyl in 4th place for Takumi Racing. Then Connor, he is in 5th place for NASCOM. Jason, he is in 6th. Ooh, little kick of the rear there for Jason on the exit. Ronaldo in 7th place, and he has quite an almighty battle on his hands, because he's got Pete and Ashley right up behind him. As Ronaldo runs wide, Pete's going to be able to get a run on him on the outside. So he should be able to carry the speed on the faster outside line, unless Ronaldo makes it very difficult. So Ronaldo goes in too deep now. He bounces off the curb. Pete looks to the outside into turn number 2, and Ashley tightens up his line on the inside. Now he's going to try and go around the outside of Pete. So lots of crazy maneuvers here. So that is Ronaldo. He is wide, so that allows Pete to move himself past. But now they're going to be too wide into the chicane. What does Ashley do? Does he chase through? Oh, kick of the rear for Ronaldo, catching that curb. So he's unfortunately the biggest loser there, and he now drops down. So Morris closing that gap. It's now 5.1 seconds between himself and the second place Paul, but not able to get any closer with 3 minutes 45 left to go. We will have 3 more laps, and that will be the end of this Alpha tier here this evening. So Jacques approaching one of our back markers, that is Greg, I believe. Yeah, so Greg just getting out of the way. Cameraman Tim very confused. So a great drive here for Paul. He was leading into the race, made a mistake catching the curb out of the chicane. He had to allow 2 drivers to go past him. Went into the pits, found himself behind his teammate Jacques Racing. But an absolute great drive here for Flip and Sail in a 4th position. So guys, if you are still watching on the stream, let us know what you thought about this race. There hasn't been much action happening out in the front, but definitely some action in the midfield, which is generally what we want to see. And other than the contact into the first corner, the racing has been pretty clean. That's Greg for some stuff racing down in 12th place, but just bag those points, Greg, bring it home.
Leaders on final lap now.
So that is confirmation that Jacques is on his final lap. So it has been an absolute fantastic drive here for Jacques. It got stuck up in the mix-up earlier on in lap and turn number 1. Went straight into the pits on that lap. Has been putting in some great consistent times, is what I can assume. Too scared to go and look at touch any other buttons, because I know that you're able to go to timetable, then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it does give us the blue screen, and that means we have to reset the game. And I thought that was pretty weird, because there's a guy on the side of the track waving a flag which was blue, which I'm pretty sure could be quite confusing to some of the drivers. So there is the confirmation. Jacques Racing crosses the line in first place. We then have Paul. So Paul crosses the line in second place, with Marius in third. In fourth place, a well-driven fourth there by Dion van Heerden. Not Dion, from Flip and Sail, apologies. Connor in fifth place. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Jason also in a Honda. He will come home in sixth position. with a very, very busy Sly Pete was really in the mix of things. So Pete will be in a 7th place. That is, where's Ronaldo? That is not Ronaldo. There is Ronaldo in 8th. That was Dupi that we saw. Here's the down in a 9th position. Then Dion van Heerden in a 10th place with Ashley in 12th, and JJ down in Ashton 11th. Sorry. And then Greg in 12th position.
Pick up rubber, pick up rubber. Damn it. Marwan's in there, safety car. Well done, guys. Top 3 into the lobby with Dylan, please.
Green light. Go, go, go.
So guys, we're just going to wait for our drivers to join us in the chat party.
That was an epic race.
So guys, we are just waiting for our top 3 to join us in the commentary box for our driver interviews. While we are waiting for them, just a reminder that this championship is proudly brought to you by CT Auto Electrical. All the details are in the description, so go and have a look, give them a shout if there is any racing harnesses or auto electrical requirements that you do require. Craig is the one that you need to speak to.
Lekker.
So guys, we just got Morris to come and join us. I'm sure he's just grabbing himself a towel to wipe his brow. And we can get into that. Almost rhymed in my head for some reason.
It did rhyme.
It was close.
Well,
You see, I told you. There we
Yep,
go.
yep.
So I was right.
Yes.
So I got an absolute a crazy race. A bit of confusion into turn number 1. We saw green cars, orange cars spinning around. Not quite sure what happened. Then Morris, you were...
Yeah. we know what happened.
So Morris, let's
Sorry, Morris.
let's start off with you. A 3rd place recovery for you. Was fighting to catch all the way to the end, but just not able to close that gap in the end. But yeah, happy with that end result? No.
I'm not happy with that. I think a win was on the cards. The beginning of the race, That's the result. Unfortunately, the incident. Yeah, but it was fun catching up. I had a little bit of damage, so I had a few good battles there with a couple of dudes.
Yeah.
You know, so I used all my tires. So in the end, when I was really chasing hard to try and catch them, I just didn't have any more. I just kept on out braking, you know, and losing the arse.
No, especially getting onto that power. It did look like it was a little bit loose there.
Oh, very loose in the end. I was very aggressive after the incident to get, you know, back. So it totally destroyed my tires in the end. I was catching Paul a little bit, but I kept on, you know, every time I catch him, I outbrake myself again and I lose again because I was pushing over the limit. But it was fun. There was quite a few good battles. It was good.
It was absolutely,
well done to the guys.
It was absolutely awesome to watch from our side, Morris. Thank you so much. Paul, you were in first place, hit the chicane really, really hard, and unfortunately had to watch both Ronaldo and Dion van Heerden go past, and you essentially rejoined for third. Fought your way back up to the lead, going to the pits, and then to have your teammate Jacques out in front.
Yep. Yeah, man. I kind of, when we went, okay, incident happened, I'm like 6 seconds ahead, breathe, keep it together. And then I think lack of concentration because of being too cautious, and then just hit the curb, spun out, and swore a few times myself. And, you know, and then recovery drive to kind of catch back up, and then got stuck for that one lap and lost like 2 seconds behind FVZ, and then I just darted into the pits unplanned, just to get out of the way. And then then Jacques went past, and we kind of just keep it together. And then when Marius pitted, I saw he was about 6 seconds, 7 seconds behind, and kind of just kept it there, managed it. The last few laps, the Honda became a real handful. So then kind of just like held on to the end to make sure just get home, get the points, you know, just take a second place. Happy with that. Could have been a W, but you know, you got to finish first to first finish. So you know, that's unfortunately that's how it goes. But well done, Marius, on your third. That was a great recovery drive from you and Jacques. I mean, that was awesome to see. I'm gonna go watch the stream.
Thanks, man.
My mirror, it kind of looked like a little bit of chaos and everything going on. So that's you know, it happens. I think turn one at Zolder is always the tight corner. It happens, unfortunately. Thankfully, I wasn't involved this time.
100%. Okay, let's go to you, Jacques. So it sounds like you were in the mix of things there. Then a very, very early pit stop for you, and then it was basically just try and chase down whoever was in the front for the rest of the race.
Yeah, no. Firstly, I want to say sorry to Marius and the Mambas. I'm busy actually watching the replay now, and I think I just misjudged my braking. You know, brakes weren't up to temperature and all that, and it was just understeering. And I think I was the culprit in that massive incident. So I'll take the blame. After that, it was just, I didn't expect the win, to be honest. I just, I told Paul I'm just going to come in and just do my thing. And I saw I was getting fastest laps of the race, but I didn't really think anything about it until people started pitting in on the halfway mark, and somehow I found myself in first place. But to be honest, it's not the win that I honestly deserve. I think Marius or Paul actually deserve that win, and but I guess I'd take it. So, but yeah, congrats to Marius and Paul. That was the second half of the race was a good race. First lap, very, very questionable, but yeah, thanks for the racing.
Awesome, guys, and thanks for taking it on the chin there, Jacques. I'm pretty sure that we'll go back and see what happened there.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Yeah.
Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. To everyone on the stream,
thanks, man.
thank you. We really do enjoy
Cheers,
your
guys.
comments that come through the racing. Thank you for Ashley for jumping into the commentary box with me for the Bravo tier. Really looking forward to next week. Guys, that's enough from my side. Ashley, I'm pretty sure that you've got something to say.
Yeah, definitely. As always, guys, if you want to get involved, please go check out our website. Check out our merchandise. We've got some of these cool trucker caps that you can purchase from our retail store there, and also a water bottle and a face mask to protect yourself from COVID. You can check out all the details there. Register, become a member, find out when the next season starts. You can also check out our Facebook and watch us live on YouTube
and Facebook.
Cool.
And listen, the more and more I think about the new season idea that we've got, the more I'd say anxious that I'm feeling, just what the drivers are going to think about it. But I think it's a freaking amazing idea. I honestly can't wait to just drop that bomb and then just see all the carnage happen. I think it's going to be incredible.
We won't let any cats out the bag just yet, but it's definitely going to be a fantastic season to come. So guys, stay tuned and keep following us and definitely join us if you can.
Guys, thank you so much. Enough from me. We will be back on Monday again. That will be around 7 of our vintage touring car. I can't believe that season is already coming to an end. So, guys, until then, keep racing, and thanks for watching. Yos.